Hello, hello, hello. Hi Charlene, hi Loosely Collected, hi Sophie, and hi Campaign Terrain. Hope you're all doing great. And yeah, Loosely Collected, you are the first in today and you win absolutely nothing. How are you all doing? Catching up on the chat here. Okay, I think that's everyone. Okay, so today I was thinking about going over a few brick textures. Mostly because I've kind of gotten into this habit of making very regular brick textures. Like nice, regular, there's a consistent pattern, which is mostly okay, but I think it gets very same if you repeat it over too many things. So earlier this week I was having some trouble sleeping. So I went out for a walk and I was like seeing this wall just before dawn, took a few reference photos. And I just wanted to see if I could recreate the bricking pattern over there, which is completely random. So campaign terrain saying, it's hot. How are you? Karl make stuff. Well, it was 43 degrees centigrade yesterday. I'm not sure how much it is today, but I can tell you that the lights in here are not helping. Okay, so yeah, this is the kind of pattern I'm going to try to be making today. Now, I could go with the scribing, but we already know that works. So I was going to try something that I've seen in some of those forums where they make nativity scenes. But we'll get to that in a second. Before we continue, I'm just going to drop the link to the community showcase in case any of you have any work to show. I know that some of you have dropped their stuff in there already. Okay, high and field road layout. Good to see you. Great Railway Modeling Channel. And yeah, I also wanted to remind you that next week we have the instructions not included challenge stream. That's going to be about the same time today week. Okay, and just in case you're wondering, yes, we already have the next challenge lined up, but we will be talking about that next week. Oh yeah, by the way, before I forget, this is what I'm working on for the instructions not included challenge. You can see it's still at a sealer stage. Hopefully I'll have something worth showing next week. I've just got a little chimney too. But yeah, let's get cracking on the brick textures. Okay, so the look I'm trying to avoid is this, which is really regular. And I'm going to try to go for the look we've got in that photo up in the corner. Now the method I saw in the in this forum was a bit mental, if you ask me, because mostly I make my bricks using Proxon, so you can make a few thousand of them fairly quickly. But again, the problem is that they're all super regular. So what I will be trying to do today is this method, which basically involves knife. And the idea is to make the bricks as irregular as possible. So yeah, instead of working with a hot wire cutter, Just starting out with these sheets, which are, I think I've got a couple of different thicknesses here. And I'm just cutting this up into random strips. On the plus side, most of these methods seem to work with larger bricks than I normally use, so bricking a wall should not take that long. And just making sure I keep my fingers out of the way. No, one of the reasons I want to avoid the scribing method is that although that works really well, I always find some difficulty with the corners. You know, you always get this seam where two pieces join up, and it's not always really easy to hide that. Ah, okay. Difficulty number one. If I'm not careful when I pull across, this is going to break the foam. So I might actually want to put two or three together so that they can support each other. Probably still going to have some break off, but this should help. So yeah, speaking of the scribing method and hiding the corners, I know there are a few ways, but let's try something different. Probably putting the thickest piece on the back is more sensible. And just like that, he was nicknamed Nabi. Yeah. You know, it seems that most of my hobbies seem to involve putting my fingers at risk, whether that's crafting or sword fighting or woodworking. Which is kind of bad because I need my fingers to work. Also, having fingers is good. Okay, so are any of you working on anything today? Or are you just here to watch me suffer through the heat? I'd say this is taking, so far, this is taking less time than I thought it would. What's one finger? You got nine more. I mean, as long as it's not the middle finger, I do tend to use that a lot. And hiding in my basement from the world. Sounds good. I hope it's nice and cool in there. Now, I might need to stop at some point for a hydration break because I can already feel the sweat running down my nose. So last week I put out that video about why we craft, and I've had a ton of really nice responses, both on the comments and on Facebook and other places I posted. Hey Sultanic, good to see you. It was kind of interesting to see how different people got started and why, even in different places, different times, and so on. Mostly one of the things that I liked is that there's this kind of like sense of sticking together for kind of community reasons, kind of like if you're building stuff for you and your friends to play on and things like that. And in some cases, like a family thing where people were making things for their kids to play with their kids and stuff like that, which was really nice, I think. But yeah, next step of this process is okay. This is going to take some time, I think. But basically, they were saying to shave the edges off with a knife, which I understand is important. But yeah, that's out of edges. But let's see how far this goes. It's definitely going to be more random than you know just smushing them in my hands than I usually do, because it doesn't go that deep. Plus, what I can already see is that you do get some very irregularly shaped stones. So that's a good start. Only have another million to go to. So yeah, I mean, the nativity stuff that some of these folks make is very photorealistic, which is probably more photorealistic than I'm trying to achieve. And they really put the time in, so there's that too. They're not trying to speed build. I will send you some anti-cut gloves, Karl. Yeah. Possibly this should be a kids not try this at home moment, but as usual, have a sharp knife, know where the blade of the knife is, and only apply minimal force. I think that's going to keep you safer than any amount of anti-cut gloves. But I appreciate the feeling, Nick. I think the only time I cut myself really badly was with a chisel, and still visible here. And the thing is that I wasn't even using it at the time. It was just lying on the table, and I had not noticed it. Which goes up to the other knife safety and blade safety rule that I often mention, is that always know where your blades are and store them safely when they're not in immediate use. Don't leave sharp stuff lying around. Okay, so one thing I'm seeing here is that because of the, well, let's call it the grain direction of the foam, parts of it are getting torn off and it's just adding to the texture. So do we want to do this frequently? Probably not, but I think there's something to this. And yeah, probably I'm not going to go through all these bricks today. I'm just going to make enough to make a test. Hey Lisa, good to see you. One thing I'm not terribly enjoying is the squeaky sound the foam is making while I'm cutting it. I'm not sure if it's coming across on the microphone. But just going to remind you, here's the community showcase in case any of you have pictures to share on Discord later. And since Dungeon Matron is here, I'm just going to plug her stream from next Wednesday, which features Bob the World Builder. I'm not sure if it's Bob World Builder or Bob the World Builder. I think I had to change that at some point. But anyway, he looks like a really nice guy, so that's going to be a fun stream. Without D. Okay, thanks, Nick. And our stream. Now, Lisa, it's your stream. You're responsible for that. Okay, I got to go for a bit, but okay, Sophie, you take care. Behave in my absence. Yeah, don't worry. You can be certain that we won't do anything that you wouldn't do. So yeah, I think I'm being too delicate with this, to be honest. Yeah, probably cutting off bigger chunks seems to be a better idea. Hey, the thing that's really blowing my mind now is that in about 15ish minutes, I've made one, two, three, four, five, six bricks to the with these cuts, and these guys usually work on really large pieces. So kind of wondering how long they spend just doing this. And I'm not knocking it because again, crafting is not something that needs to be rushed, but I'm guessing that takes a certain amount of dedication to one's craft. Okay, so fireworks are starting, so if you hear any explosions in the background, don't worry, everything is fine. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. Red Dog Terrain, another fantastic terrain making channel. Unfortunately, some of that effort wouldn't be seen because it's obscured by other bricks, but that's something that can't be avoided. Hmm. I mean, to be honest, I mean, like this, I think this is the same thing with lots of crafts, even stuff we do. If you plan it out properly, you probably don't need to make anything that would be obscured. Just make the parts that are going to be visible and useful in the rest. But yeah. Okay, Lee's saying, listening as while putting in a little fence I scratch built out of mesh sticks and coffee sticks. Okay, nice. Because anyway, I was saying again, yeah, I this is probably too much effort. Even if you enjoy doing the thing, it's like too much effort to just spend it on things that wouldn't show up in the end. Going to call it uneconomical, but it's not more about economy, but it's more about like, hey, at the end of the day, you really want to build the thing, not build parts for the thing. Explosions for, yeah, they're explosions for Jesus. So one thing that I will not be doing, the part of the process is to send paper over these as well. I'm not going to do that today because A, that's going to take a while, and B, I don't want to be cleaning foam dust all week. So I'm just going to skip that for today. But I think that should still give us some idea of how this will look. I am going to say this again. Just go scribing the pattern would probably be a much faster approach if that's what you were concerned about. Also, yeah, if you're worried about your fingers, it's probably a lot less, well, worrying, I guess. Now, one thing about this is a fairly repetitive task, but this is absolutely not one thing that I would suggest doing while doing something else. Again, because knives and fingers. I mean, it doesn't matter. Even if you use an anti-cut glove or whatever, you need to be paying attention to this. Oops. Also, I should probably have put down a newspaper or something to catch all the stuff so I can, the offcuts so I can throw them away later. Realistically, I'd probably be dripping sweat all over it, so it wouldn't be very useful right now. So I'll just have to see what I can do later. Something I have always wanted to do with my bricks is that wild splotchy mold that you see on stone walls. I can never get that to look right though. And Red Doctorine is asking, what have you tried for the white mold? Okay, so I would think that if you get a sponge, right, and some white paint, and just put tiny amounts of white paint, just enough to mark it. I think that might be a good start. If it's the white mold I'm thinking about. Kind of feeling like I'm peeling potatoes right now. I did several layers of watered down white spots, but it never looks like mold. It just looks like white spots. Tell you what, I don't know if Jeffrey has any ideas, but if you want to, if you find a photo of the mold and put it in the community showcase, might have a look at it later and we can maybe bounce some ideas. I say this with as much camaraderie as possible, but ain't no way I'm individually texturing bricks. Certainly not that many. It's the old rock box or plain squishing for mine. Ah, come on. I mean, like in 30 minutes, I managed to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, oh, geez, it's a kind of, on average, it's kind of taking me like 2 minutes per brick. Yeah, I don't see myself using this very often, if at all. But still, we'll see. Because it also just occurred to me that these blocks are kind of textured on both sides, but only one side will actually be visible. So I was wondering if I could split them in half and basically double the amount of bricks I have. Okay, I was thinking a very fine flock mixed with white paint. I didn't add flock because the mold IRL is fairly flat, but maybe that will sell it. I'll give them a try. So if it's the mold I'm thinking about, the white stuff is dried out, if I'm not mistaken. So you're always going to get some splotches of. I think it's fairly orange when it's alive. I'm not entirely sure. Might be a different thing that I'm thinking about though. Also, if I'm not, again not mistaken, I think those that kind of mold usually grows on, or at least I've only ever seen it on fairly dark walls, and I think that's because you get the multiple layers of it growing several generations and so on. So I think it would. I mean, if nothing else for contrast, it's going to that dark background is going to help it. You know, when uh, when people say that bricking must take super long time, I suspect that this is what they're talking about, or at least that this is what they're thinking about. And I think, to be honest, if I had to do this for a model rather than just for a test, I'd probably just use air drying clay and sculpt the thing. It probably takes a fraction of the time. But again, it's good to try out new things. Okay, so that's a few of them done. What I'm going to do is grab a few more of them and just scrunch them, see if that makes any substantial difference. Okay, they're still fairly regular, but most of the edges are off. So might actually combine the two. Last week's stream I used a bunch of 10 by 10 by 5 tiles, about 2500 to 2000 pre-cut. Textured all them in 30 minutes, squishing them in my hands. They look not brand new, but still pretty uniform. Yeah, I mean that's the way I do it usually. Just put everything in a bucket and just keep scrunching them until I get tired. I mean, I know about the coffee can with the stone streak, but I think I tried it a couple of times and just too much bother just scrunching things. I mean, it works for sure. Just turning the thing over or shaking the thing, just more effort than I was getting out of it. Now let's see. These are the stones I cut up. And I think that mostly I will want them to lie on the side because this is where they have the most variation. So I'm thinking that if I section them this way, I think I might get more out of them. So let's see how that works. Plus, it gives us a nice clean surface to glue to the wall. Okay, I'm not even trying to get clean halves because that's going to create some more variation in the bricks. Some of them will be jutting out this way, some of them will be jutting out that way. Yeah, I should probably not throw them all in the same pile because now I don't know which ones I've done already. I like the rock can, but I think I'm going to build a mechanism that will spin the can like a rock tumbler. Well, that, and I generally just build in foam and use a texture roller. I'm lazy. Well, if you get what you want out of the texture roller, I don't see why that's a problem. It's like we're not all looking for photorealism. We're not all looking for the same thing. If you're happy with what you build, go for that. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can glue this in. Let's see what happens. Now some PVA glue. I'm not sure how long that will last in this heat, but we'll see. So I'm just going to use my branded Karl mix of PVA applicator. $12.99 in the affiliate links in the description. Yeah, just a piece of card. I'm guessing this will be solid before I even get a couple of rows done. But let's see. Excuse me. Okay, one of the good things about PVA is that you can still slide things around while you're working. I think made a kind of mistake here because I think I really needed a mixture of larger and smaller bricks, but most of the bricks are about similarly sized, but that's okay, actually. Let's sneak in some of these as well. Some things I have to make have to have individual bricks, but I mean, if it works, it works. I totally cheat. I have several rows of the vinyl Christmas Village Brick Road. You still have more of those? How many of those things did you buy? Because I know you've been using them for at least 2 years now. Yeah, that's what I thought. They stink to heaven when you take them out of their package. Eh, I wonder if you should, just take them outside, just let them all degas at the same time rather than taking them out individually. I don't know if that would help. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm not hating the way it looks, although I think I could actually work on the pattern out better if I had made a few different sizes. So, yeah, to be honest, the only problem I have with the vinyl stuff is the same thing that I was saying with the scribed texture, because you're going to get seams and then you have to deal with those seams. But I mean, there are ways of dealing with that. we go. Just going to let it cure for a bit and then maybe give it a bit of a foil ball texture to see if that improves. I'm not entirely sold on it, partly it's because of the pattern I'm not entirely certain about, but I can see the potential of this, but I can also see the potential of the time that it would take. But let's see about that. In the meantime, let me try to again do the same thing with by scribing. So one way I've seen it done is just to define the larger blocks first. And then fill in the rest. Here I'm really trying very hard to avoid the pattern because it's easy to get into like a regular pattern and it's always going to be rather repetitive. Because the human brain really likes patterns for some reason. I'm guessing because you have patterns, you can follow it generally to think less. I watched the video by Luke APS about using a cobblestone pattern wallpaper. Paper. I think I remember that one. I think it was making I think it was making a Mordheim board at the time. But then, yeah, that really worked out really well. And definitely, if I was doing that for a larger board, a texture roller would be such a good idea. If you're not using literally just wallpaper and rolling it out. So these shapes are definitely turning out more regular than the others. But that's something that I have to work on. I think I just literally fall into this pattern. I probably need to spend more time sketching before I do this kind of thing. The thing about the vinyl wallpaper solution is that it doesn't have much depth. It's better for bricks than stone, but still I guess it's a matter of ease versus quality. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, like, I've never tried the wallpaper or the vinyl thing. Okay. So I mean, if you think about it, this does not have much depth here yet. But if you don't mind, I'm just going to dip out and get some water because right now I'm literally dripping. Okay, so I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and then we'll do some else more work on this one. Karl is melting. Kind of. I mean, a bit. Okay, let's catch up with this. I can print you some texture rollers on my FDM machine. Okay, that's interesting. Doesn't the FDM leave layer lines? Okay, back to the grind. Okay, so right now this is fairly flat. But we can... Sorry about the noise outside. I think we can go with, again, Jared Boom's method for this is literally just scribbling into indent the foam so that we have some pieces that are sticking out at an angle, say. Now, depending on the type of foam, and I think this is a bit softer than the foam Gerard uses, but it still takes detail pretty well. But depending on the type of foam, you can really get some good elevations. The important thing here is to use the side of the pencil, not the point, so you're pressing in. See if we can zoom in on this. Okay, yeah, so I was saying use the side of the pencil, not the point. Now there are these other things you could do here. For example, if you take a blade and slice between these two, uh, sorry, between two bricks, then you can also apply more pressure because the foam is already separated, so you can create more distinction between them. But I find that's not always necessary. Now, the thing that you cannot do with the pencil is, have things that are elevated outside of the of the plane of the wall. So again, I'm just going to try one of Gerard tricks for that one. And this is probably a bit too thick for that, but okay, it's reasonably thin. You can basically try to fit that over one of the stones, if I can match the size. Get a better focus on this. Let's try to get it to focus. Okay, so it seems to want to be somewhere here. Okay. I suspect if I had planned out for this and I had done this beforehand, it might work out even better. Like, glue the extra bits on before and then draw the other stuff. But planning is for the smart. Let's see, where do I want this? There looks like. do another couple of these and then we'll go back to the other wall. Just to give them time to stick down. The bonus for a roller can give is depth. Rollers can create varying thicknesses for the stones and bricks. I'm going to say yes and no to that. Because it depends a lot on the material. I mean, there's only so much that you can push in. If you're working with stuff like clay or something like that, it might work out, but it's not the same for everything. Foam, for example, tends to spring back a lot. I need roller classes because I don't have a lot of arm strength and end up going over it again, which inevitably leaves images. Again, it depends on what you're doing it on. If it's, again, clay or something like that, you don't really need a lot of strength to put an impression in. Foam, yes, because it will spring back. Any kind of stuff like acrylic caulk and stuff like that, that's takes literally no strength at all. Plus, I mean, if you've got a, I really like those rollers that work like rolling pins. You know, you put a dowel in there and then you push on it with your body weight. That's again, you don't need strength because your body weight is doing most of the work. Okay, I'm just going to set this down for a second until it dries, and we'll get back to it to finishing that one off. Now, here's the one we made earlier. I think I still managed to make the pattern too repetitive even with the regular shade bricks. I don't hate it, but yeah, definitely I think I would go for sculpting this if I wanted to have this kind of effect rather than, whittling down individual bricks. But let's see how it looks like after some foil texture. Lava flow roller, okay, that sounds interesting. In the past, I've glued bricks like that onto the backing using texture paste. It makes for good mortar in between the stones. Yeah, I agree. Usually what I do is the other way around. So I will glue the stones onto the backing, and then I put the spackle in after I paint them. That way it lets me have different colored bricks and mortar. I was considering at one point pre-painting the bricks and then sticking them into the mortar, but I never actually got around to trying that. So here's what we have. I think the effect is pretty good. Again, yeah. It's just the amount of effort involved is probably too much for what we usually do. Okay, let's see. Nope, these aren't set yet. So let's just give that a minute. Okay, in the meantime, I'm just going to drop the community showcase link again. And yeah, so one thing that for either of these two, I mean, like for something like this, I think I still was not random enough because again the bricks are all more or less the same size, so that needed a bit more randomness in there. Oh, hello, and for this one, what I can, what I could tell already is that I need to spend more time sketching because I kind of just fell into pattern even if I was trying not to. So again, sketching is something that I absolutely do not do enough of. Next week is the instructions to include a challenge, right, Karl? Indeed it is. So it's today week. Okay, so this one set. No, it's still moving around. Eh, may have my electrolytes. So yeah, basically the instructions not include a challenge is open to anyone who wants to join it on Discord still. The idea was to take a kit, a template, or whatever, and ignore the instructions and make your own thing out of it. So in this case, for example, this one, oh, too close. This one is based on one of my own templates, which is the one that I used for the one that I made for the inn. I just used the back and the right side of the inn, duplicated twice over, so it gives a different shape to the building. And I added these little stairs as well. But you absolutely need to finish this off. So, with regards to what Sophie was saying, which is actually a really good idea, what she was talking about is basically just covering the thing in paste and then using that to stick the bricks on. But what I am actually doing is building everything on the substructure, and then I leave these gaps between the bricks. So when I rub speckle over them, it sinks into there. It just leaves a very faint texture over the brick as well. So that's my plan. Basically, I've already tried it with the inn. It works out really well. And my idea there is to have a lighter colored mortar than brick. What I've done sometimes also is put the mortar in before I paint it, but then it tends to all look kind of the same color, which I kind of wanted to avoid. I would jump in on that, but I need something small so I could get it done in time. Anybody got any small template stuff in mind that would work? Mhm. I don't know. I mean, like probably Lisa knows the Dollar Tree inventory better than they do, so that probably she would be the best person to give you ideas along that line. And let's see. quite dry yet, but let's see what we can do. Okay, so we've got these blocks that are glued on. They still look a bit out of place like that. So I'm just going to try to use the pencil to blend them in a little. Most of that just involves using the edge of the pencil to push the foam down. Now, this is really something that I should have given in a lot more time for the glue to dry. But it is what it is. If you want to see this technique used to a really good effect, I'm guessing you know if you're here, you're aware of Gerard Boom's work already. But again, if you don't, shiftinglens.com, it's on YouTube as well. Gerard does all this amazing work with foam. That I mean, he's the master of this technique. Plus, if you work with a hot wire cutter, his what do you call it? Jigs and add-ons for the Proxen are just super useful. So Karl is referring to cheap buzzsaw kits to build cars, boats, and birdhouses that are sold on Dollar Tree. I used a birdhouse for my build, okay? I used a tiny race car wood kit and it turned out into an altar or whatever, okay? Only took about an evening to make, then about 74 days for the paint layers to dry. Here all I'm really doing is just pushing foam. Probably would work better with slightly thinner pieces, but yeah, get the idea. Okay, so we could also run the foil ball over this one, but again, since we're here, let's just use Gerard's technique, which is literally just to scribble on each individual brick. One thing I'll say about this is that it's a lot less destructive. So one thing that happens sometimes is if you're using a foil ball on a piece of foam, it's just going to bow out. But this tends to prevent it. So if you're working on thinner foam, this is actually a really good method. Okay, and I'm also being careful not to push so hard that I eliminate the lines I made between the bricks. So sometimes it might be useful to re-establish them. If you've gone and knife cut them, then that's obviously not a problem. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It depends on what I feel like that day when I use this. So again, going for a low pressure and it doesn't look like this texture is very deep, but it shows up surprisingly well when you dry brush. Okay, now the problem I was talking about earlier is about the seams. So let's say try to get a nice clean cut. So yeah, when you have a corner you want to line up like that, sometimes it's a bit tricky because you're always going to have that gap in here. Sure, you could texture this side, but it's always going to have that line. Now, one way of sorting that out is by mitering the edge, which is probably a lot more precise than I can actually do, but let's see about that. Again, planning, I should have done this before I glued these bits in. I want to go for 45 degrees from that edge. Now, can I be that precise? Good question. I don't know. Am I going to mess up all the work if I fail this? Absolutely. Which is one of the reasons I don't like to do this if I can help it. Just a little bit off. So small cuts, we can always cut more later, but we cannot really add much back in. And that was a bit too small of a cut. And it was a really ragged one. Let's see. It's a bit of a mess, but yeah, it will work out. Probably. Okay, so we've kind of got something there. I hope I didn't. No, I think it's the correct one. I think there's still going to be a bit of a gap there, but much less noticeable. And I think if we glue it together and then use a pencil to soften that gap, I think it's going to be fine. But it's probably going to take a while. Yeah, I think this could work. Definitely need some filling there at some point, but I think we can make this work. Again, if I was cutting this on a hot wire table rather than using a knife, it would probably be a lot closer. Because I've got a gap of at least a couple of degrees there. Let's see, if you draw a line on the back that's the same distance from the edge as the thickness of the foam that can help graduate. Yep. But yeah, I was trying to be a cowboy and free-handed. I don't believe in dovetailing. Those birds need to keep their butts out of my crafting. Okay, so I think that's it for today. So we've tried one stone preparation technique, which yeah, I don't think I'm going to be using, to be honest. Like, it looks good. I think I could make it look really good if I put the time into it, but it just sinks so much time. Probably air drying. If I wanted to do this kind of texture, probably air drying clay would be my go-to. Okay, so again, this is another way of doing it, and what I noticed from this one is that I really need to spend time working on my sketching because I'm just I'm just a straight lines kind of person, I guess. But with that, let's have a look at the community showcase and see what you guys did as soon as I can find it. Yeah, I know, right? On the plus side, it's really good for losing weight. I mean, like, who needs a sauna? Okay, first up is cross, and we've got some really good looking standing stones. So let me get his description real quick. So stones are corrugated card, surface texture is toilet paper papier-mâché, ground mounds are XPS foam, bottom bases for absolutely unnecessary stability are CDs. Okay, so basically that's toilet paper over a cardboard substructure, which is a really effective way of doing that. And yeah, Little Bird told me that, not so Little Bird told me that Cross will be making similar stones on his stream later tonight. So if anyone wants to see how the sausage or the standing stone is made, check out Campaign Terrain later today after the stream. But yeah, these are really nice work, Cross. There you go. Okay, so next up is from Sophie. This is going to be the middle level of a Cosmica table, an exobotany lab where they had a little accident with the local fungi. It consists of two parts which you can connect in several ways to get different layouts. I wanted to challenge myself to build something from scratch. No printing, no bits, nothing pre-made. The tufts are one exception as I can't make those myself. The rest is cardboard, plastic card, coffee, milliput, wood filler, garden trash, paper, placemats, tie wraps, glue, paints and pigments. Okay. So I managed to have a really quick look at this earlier, but yeah, it is looking fantastic. I mean, it's super grungy in the best possible way. I like the little flyers and papers lying around. And I'm guessing these mushrooms are sculpted. Some really nice weathering over there. So broken glass, nice. And are those numbers hand painted, or did you draw them in with a pen, or how do you go about it? Because it's really tidy uh, in a grungy way. Yes, the mushrooms are sculpted from milliput. Well, the caps are, the stems are where wrapped in tape. Okay. Ooh, big mushroom. Oh, check that out. Sorry. I'm having some trouble with Discord and sizing the image up and down. I look the detail is incredible. The charts and that sign. But what I was looking at is this. It's like that. This looks fantastic. I'm guessing the window itself is some kind of acetate, but how do you get that dirt and grunge on it? Okay, fine liners for the numbers. Text. Okay, nice. Good to know. Campaign Terrain says, not even kidding, at first glance, this reminds me of the nasty alley behind the place I used to work. Oh, color poster. I'm just wondering, what's this material you're using for the walls? It looks like some kind of weave. Yeah, the whole thing looks fantastic. Okay, the dirt on the window is just actually cautious. Interesting. All right. And the texture was, oh, okay, plastic. Nice, nice plastic placements. I would never have thought of using that. That's a great idea. But yeah, fantastic work. I mean, I totally love this. I, you mentioned Cosmica, but I think this would be really good for a game of Delta Green or even Call of Cthulhu, I guess. Okay, and these are the tiles that Cross was talking about earlier. Yay, tiles. That's a lot of tiles. But yeah, this is the same as we were saying. It's like uh, because they've all pretty close. It's going to be pretty consistent even if you take the edges off and press them down. But I mean, I've used these thousands of times. I mean, not Possibly millions by the time, by the quantities that we go with, but and they have a good effect. It depends on what you're going for. If you're going for photorealism or you just need a good-looking base or what have you. Every time I see builds like this, I wish I had taken pictures of the old out of commission boiler room we used to have at work. They would have been a hell of a study in rust, grime, and weird growth. The mushies look so realistic, I figured you just toss some spores on there and let them go. Uh, I mean, I think that would be an interesting idea, but at the same time, I think it'll start to smell eventually. But yeah, that was some masterwork. Okay, and yeah, I think we should probably wrap up now before I melt completely. But before we go, again, all of you, thanks for sharing this work. This is some top class stuff. If you want to see Cross make his standing stones, head over to Campaign Terrain later today. And yeah, join us next week for the instructions that included crafting challenge. And on Wednesday, if you find the time, join us on Just Looking with You, where we'll have Bob words. I can words. I swear I can words. Let me just lubricate a little with what you call them, electrolytes. Yeah, Just Looking with You with Bob Worldbuilder. And of course, Dungeon Matron and Quizbortrain. And me. So yeah, we'll be having some fun this week. Everyone, thanks for hanging around and see you soon. Bye.